no
Yeah,
wonder, sure, no wonder that they kept you to be the closer for the Brands at Home event. It's in the name, at Home Chef.
it is. It is. Everybody loves Home Chef at Home, which is where we all find ourselves today, I think.
Um, there's a lot of exciting things going on at Home Chef, and we'll get into them. But I thought it would be great to start with your background. You joined Home Chef in 2018 from Pepsi, shortly after the acquisition from Kroger. Very exciting time to join. I'd love to know. This is a very different position from traditional CPG. What were your, key takeaways or key learnings from the transition to e-commerce?
Yeah, when I left Pepsi, I knew I wanted to get into this digital space and in the D2C space specifically to get closer to the customer. And it was a really pivotal point in the growth of our company with the acquisition from Kroger and a nice merger of me being able to get into digital while still keeping my feet wet with CPG. And so there were I had a lot to learn because D2C moves so much faster than CPG does. Like at Pepsi, I think we really thought we moved quickly. And I heard one of the earlier panelists talk about how these big companies struggle to do that. Like I remember thinking if we were launching a product in less than a year, that was moving quickly. And we launched a lot of things at Home Chef much, much quicker, maybe in a month sometimes, because of just how we're structured. And so that was really fun and exciting for me right out the gate.
I think one of the things that is interesting is how does the Home Chef company structure, being this kind of startup, culture, this D2C brand within the larger Kroger, help you be more agile and launch products, as you mentioned, as quickly as 1 month?
That's a great question. Home Chef is about 7 years old for those of you that don't know. And so we've been in this category as it has grown. And our executive team has really focused on keeping us entrepreneurial. They started out with this very entrepreneurial mantra that they live by. And as we've grown, that has remained really core to who we are. And so the marketing team is structured in a way that allows us to move really quickly. We don't work with a ton of external agency partners. We do a lot in-house. And so figuratively now, we all sit in the same room with our agencies, right? So we have an internal design team. We have a media team. We have an analytics team and a partnership team and a lifecycle team and a retail marketing team now that all report up to the same structure and work really, really closely together. We have daily stand-ups together cross-functionally to make sure that we're all moving very quickly. And so that enables us to keep that entrepreneurial spirit alive and make decisions very quickly. It also allows us to really focus on this idea of test and learn. And that has been the core of who we are as well, which I think is maybe different than other types of organizations. When you're D2C, you really get to hear the customer's voice and listen to them. And so because of our structure, we're able to listen and adapt pretty quickly.
No, I think that's, you mentioned the change from more traditional organization to this more entrepreneurial spirit. Also, the benefits of being D2C, having that rapid feedback. You have a much more rapid feedback loop in terms of how things are doing, allowing you to do the test and learn. Were there any kind of initial, speed of the feedback, speed of the data you were getting that was a big kind of a realization for you as you made the shift?
Yeah, I think the way that our team assesses, performance was a big surprise for me. Pepsi or other big CPG companies, not to pick on my prior company because I had a great experience there. And other places, you might run a campaign for 3 months and check in on it once, whereas in this D2C world, we're literally checking on our campaigns daily, hourly to see how they're doing. And that allows us to build and make changes iteratively on a very quick basis. So that was pretty surprising for me at first. Also on the product side, our product team is working very closely with all of the data they're receiving directly from our customers. And so on our website, our customers can leave feedback and offer, ratings to every single meal. And so they're able to adapt what is on our menu on a regular basis. For those of you listening, if you don't know what Home Chef is, we're a meal kit delivery company, but we've expanded beyond traditional meal kits. And we have a lot of other product types that are salads, protein packs, other types of convenient meal kits that meet various consumer needs. And so because our team is getting this customer feedback, they're able to adapt and very quickly as well.
And that was a great, a great point. And one of my questions is, it's a very, you mentioned rapidly evolving, very competitive landscape, and there's been lots of highs and lows. How as, being part of the Kroger family helps you stay agile? For example, I know that some of your competitors had mentioned that they had to limit their options due to supply chain constraints. Well, Home Chef has been able to expand its offerings and features like, and expand the customize it feature, which everyone loves.
Yeah, I'd say on the Kroger side, I think there are a lot of teams that are now able to work with experts at Kroger. And so I think that's helped on the agile front over there. Our procurement team can work with Kroger procurement, for example, and our retail marketing team can work very closely with 8451 and be part of that family of brands and capabilities. During this time frame, initially, just like so many competitors, we did have to contract some of our menu offerings just to be able to, back in March, meet all of our customer orders. But we've taken those learnings and have been able to expand some of the things that we're offering. For example, we learned very quickly that during this time when so many people are home, they're looking for even more convenient options, and we expanded our oven ready line specifically for those customers that want something that they make themselves but has some hands-off cooking. Additionally, we've been able to expand some of our meal offerings in Kroger. For example, we just launched pizzas, and I haven't tried one yet. I got to get out there and buy one, but I've heard they're amazing. So that, again, just meeting customer needs and where folks are at right now, that they want these convenient options at home.
Yeah, as a new father to an 8-month-old, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're speaking my language. I thought the product innovation point was really interesting, as you mentioned. The original meal kit was kind of a 45 to 55-minute meal prep, and you've since evolved the product to the oven-ready meals, which are fresh, ready to go in the oven, lunch kits, or, a grill-ready meal, to, even easy and fresh microwavable kits, and, having that available at the Kroger stores. One of the pieces that I thought was really interesting was, you mentioned listening to this customer feedback. How did that insight of this, like, cooking fatigue, everyone's got Zoom fatigue in our industry, but how did that insight come about, and how did that influence the product innovation? I'd love to kind of explore that a little bit more.
It's cool. I'm going to take a step back because it's been really interesting to think about how insights have evolved over this time frame. So if you think about where we started the year and what maybe the general insights were for this category, it was, I'm so busy, I'm running around from place to place to place, and I just need a little bit of help meal planning and cooking when I get home from wherever I've been. And then suddenly in March I'm not going anywhere and I'm really, really scared, right? And now we've evolved into a place of, well, I'm kind of at home, not really going anywhere. Maybe I'm not as scared as I was, but I'm just overwhelmed and exhausted. So that's sort of all the things that are happening externally. But what we're finding is that the reasons to choose Home Chef, this idea of convenient meals, whether you want to cook that full meal and we make it just easier, or you truly want a convenient option, ease and something that tastes good, no matter where you've been in that spectrum of what we've seen throughout the year, the reasons to choose Home Chef are still the same, but things that are going on outside the home, that's where things have changed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and that was also something that I thought was, really a testament to how agile Home Chef was, is launching, all these new product lines. How has this vast expansion of the categories challenged you as a marketer, everything from, creative development to media mix? And how much, I guess, of the learnings that you get from, let's say, microwavable can you, use elsewhere?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I think the key learning is that our oven ready product that we launched was last year was really successful, and customers have been really excited about it. And so we expanded upon that this year for our core customers. And so because of that success, we decided to go on and continue innovating in that space. And so we did recently launch a product called Fast and Fresh that is microwavable, but the food comes fresh. And so I think that just knowing what people are going through right now, and we're going through it too, is shaping the kinds of products that we're thinking about and the things that we want to bring to our customers. And so that has certainly shaped the way we think about things, but we also give each product that we launch its own creative look and feel, so that it does feel different to customers and that they can tell the difference between what they're getting.
And for this product range, there's the opportunity for your customers like myself, who may be super busy, to even get a meal kit that caters to these kind of quick from fridge to plate options. Or if on Fridays I think I have enough time to actually cook a meal, I can do the meal kit option. How are you, with the help of 8451, are you taking learnings from the kind of retail customer and applying that to your product offering? It'd be great to learn about how you're learning, because for most in the D2C or most consumer packaged goods companies, that's something that they didn't have available to them.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting answer to that. When you think about the retail customer and the e-com customer, it's a very different need state. So a retail customer is saying it's 4 o'clock and I don't know what I'm having for dinner tonight. And I've got to stop by the store and maybe I want to cook something and I don't want to run around the grocery store looking for ingredients, or I just want something made easy for me. Whereas an e-com customer is actually planning ahead and doing their meal planning and thinking, what do I want to eat next week and what kind of week is it? And so it's a bit of a different mindset, and we do look at the overlap and think about which of our e-com customers are also running into Home Chef, into Kroger stores to buy their Home Chef, because it does happen. But overwhelmingly, it's a different kind of mindset, and it's likely a different person, the planner versus the not planner. But I think we're there for both of them. And again, either way, they're looking for convenience and taste, no matter what their mindset is.
No, and that's great. I think one of the big questions for a lot of marketers are, as we go from the pandemic to this being the new normal, it's posed a lot of challenges. Rich DeNardis, Home Chef CRO, said that this year has been excellent. Double-digit to near triple-digit growth over the last year, which is always exciting. But it poses some questions like, does return to normality with, maybe vaccines on the horizon threaten this kind of growth trajectory? Or is this kind of e-commerce genie already out of the bottle and we expect everything to be delivered to our door now?
It's a good question. And I heard one of the earlier panelists talk about how kind of strange it is to work in a category that's doing well in this pandemic when so many things seem to be failing around the country and around the world. But fresh food delivered is what people need right now. And so, as Rich, I think he recently had that interview, we've had a solid year, no surprise there. And in terms of what the future holds, if I had that crystal ball, I could give you the answer. But I think in truth, nobody really knows what's to come. And so we're planning for lots of different, ways that things could go, lots of different contingency plans for, what happens with the vaccine and how do we continue on this growth trajectory. I do think that buying food online is certainly becoming the new normal for so many people. And once you understand how convenient it can be, there's no turning back the clock to the way we used to live. We're seeing people who maybe wouldn't have shopped online coming into the Home Chef franchise and now sticking with it because it truly is meeting their needs.
And that's a great segue into kind of my next question is, have you noticed that there are different consumer behaviors of these new customers that you've seen during the pandemic or the shift to new normal from the kind of customer behavioral patterns that you saw prior to?
Yeah, well, like I said, they're coming in for still the same reasons. They're still looking for the same things, but we are seeing them certainly sticking around for longer. And we've certainly seen those spikes during certain seasons of the year that perhaps wouldn't have been strong otherwise due to COVID. I don't know what's to come this month and next month and what's going to be going on really in our communities as states start to shut things down. Well, more and more people turn back to e-commerce the way that they did back in March, April, and May as things begin to shift. But I don't know, exactly how that's going to go. It's so hard to predict exactly what customer behavior is going to be.
Yeah, and I think this is more of a marketing question, knowing that kind of volatility ahead from your customer base. How do you prioritize between doing the brand building in this environment to more of a customer acquisition focus, knowing that volatility is ahead?
Interesting. I mean, as a D2C brand, we're always focused on customer acquisition, and that hasn't changed throughout the pandemic. I'd say we're still focused on the best way to do that efficiently. But what it has afforded us is the ability to do some more brand equity plays that maybe we wouldn't have done in the past. And we've certainly, as a business, contributed to the community in a number of ways. And we've been able to experiment with some of our brand messaging in ways that maybe we wouldn't have to just show the power of home, right? It's in our brand name and people are at home. And so we took some risks and came up with a few ads to really play with that, and kind of get a little bit more emotional than maybe we sometimes do, because we are so acquisition focused.
And I think that's a great example of you, taking risks, but also having the flexibility within your organization to take advantage of these opportunities to be more emotional, build that community and that brand equity. You mentioned it quite a few times that customer feedback is key to kind of the business decisions at Home Chef. Yeah. I'd love to know, for you, how do you collect that data? How is it parsed or, decisioned on your side?
Yeah, we have an advanced analytics and data team that does a lot of that internally. And there are a lot of dynamic models at play that they use to pull the data together and to inform business strategies. Overall, on the product side, as you asked, we have a culinary team of chefs that are actually reading what customers write. So there's no AI, picking up keywords for them. I think that this idea of reading what our customers write is really important, right? They're listening to the customers and in real time to be able to adapt. And that's kind of cool that they're able to take the time to do that.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. It's like learning that the president actually reads letters that he gets sent to him. It's like Santa Claus does exist when your feedback turns into new product innovation.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
And we do a lot of social listening as well. We like to say that our social pages are the doorstep to our brand, right? People come and knock on the door. and want to have conversations with us. And so we talk a lot about our food and hear what our customers think about their recipes and what they cooked last night and what they're excited to cook for dinner tonight. And that helps us just create conversations with them. And it's all about the food, right? And so we really keep the focus on the food and a lot of our the ways we talk to people.
Well, that's exciting. It makes me feel good as a customer knowing that I'm being listened to.
Yeah, you are.
I guess as we're approaching time, I haven't seen Amy jump in, but I know there's no crystal ball, and being in a D2C company that's digitally already digitally advanced and agile, many pundits have said that this digital transformation of the last 3 to 5 years is taking place in 1 year. And I know you don't have a crystal ball, and things are changing all the time, but what kind of projections do you have for 2021, or what are the opportunities that you see? As you mentioned, it's difficult being in a brand that's doing well during these times, but as we see, let's say, numbers not look so good, is that kind of insight feeding through the organization to maybe see another spike in sales?
Yeah, I mean, I think we continue to feel optimistic about where our business is headed because we are able to listen to the customer and figure out where we need to go to meet their needs. And we've done that really well over the past few years with some of our new product launches. And I think that's where we're headed. We're really trying to think about other ways to meet consumer needs, which in turn will grow the business. And so I'm optimistic that with the structure and the setup that I already explained, that we'll be able to do that and move quickly, no matter what the world throws at us, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about meal kits and thinking like maybe a wine pairing option would be nice for me. I'm just throwing it out there as part of the
You're not the first person to suggest it. Yeah, lots of good stuff out there coming up.
That's exciting. Amy, I don't know if it's time for us to go to questions. I want to make sure that we have time to ask some questions. Do you have time to wrap it up?
Answer questions.
Yeah, actually, I don't know where my video icon is, but we do have time for another question or two if you have some from the audience. If not, I've been paying close attention, and I have some questions myself. So I will ask you, Cole, are there ones that you're seeing from the audience, from the community?
I'm not seeing any in the chat, or maybe I'm not looking in the right place.
Or nobody has any questions. It's the end of the day.
Q&A, okay.
Well, there was a lot of good stuff there, so maybe people are also going through, a couple of ideas in their mind. I mean, I'd be curious to know, Shira and Cole too, from what you guys have seen, are there things that you've learned in this year that even if, the world did another complete 180, that you feel like you would implement or do with your customers, moving forward?
Interesting. I'm thinking about it. I mean, I think one of the learnings that we had early on was that we had to shift our creative approach and our messaging approach. And it took us about a week to figure out how to shift everything and stop everything that was in motion. And I think if the world shifted again, no matter what direction, I think we'll be better prepared for that. Like I said, it only took a few days, but it still took a few days, right? And so when really big things happen, how do you figure out how to shift your strategy really, really quickly? And I think nobody knew what was coming. And if something does happen again, we'll all be better prepared for it.
And do you have any recommendations for, one of the challenges of being sometimes a larger brand is that it's hard to move the ship, as they say. So being agile and being nimble, things that are often easier in smaller brands, isn't as easy. So have you and your team discovered any good takeaways for, how all of us might be able to move quicker and maybe with less process?
I think, yeah, there's a couple of things that we did. I think one of the things that HomeShift does really well is that we're not afraid to make quick decisions. And so we implemented daily stand-ups as soon as we went remote. We actually really valued the in-person, the way we worked in person together. And I didn't used to work from home often at all because I loved being in the office to collaborate. And so because of that shift that happened so quickly, we implemented daily stand-ups, and that has allowed us to keep making those quick decisions. And then if we are taking a risk, it allows us to have the conversations and set up more time on the calendar as those things come up on a daily basis. And so I actually think that's a positive spin, is that teams have learned how to work almost closer together because of the shift in the way that we're working. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great advice. I think having those daily check-ins, so you're not spending all your time reviewing, mountains of data, for instance, and you can just kind of quickly think about something, look at something, and move forward, are really, really helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Shira
Sure.
and Cole, for closing out today's event.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.